everybody, this is Alchemist 2, and I'm back again with another movie review. My lovely, wonderful, tremendous, extraordinary, exceptional, sensational, marvelous, magnificent, fantastic, fabulous TTR actually sent me The Nice Guys, which I had wanted to see in the cinema. And sadly, I think I would have missed out on quite the experience, but I was laughing so hard my sides hurt. It was your typical buddy comedy because you have these two men. Of course, they don't start working on the case together right away, but you've got Jack Healy, who's played by Russell Crowe, and stupendously well, I might add. He's actually a badass with a conscience, and he's a very likable character. Then we have another character played by Ryan Gosling named March. And March is a character who's been handed kind of the short end of the stick in life, even though they live in a really plush house, and his wife, not his wife, but his daughter Holly absolutely hates it. But it's a really straightforward adrenaline rush, and it's unbelievable. These the fight scenes that take place with March and Jack are they're epic. And of course, Holly is a very interesting character too. She takes after her dad. She has a very adept mind, and she's able to deduce the case, what's going on with Misty Mountains long before her father ever does. And yeah, women's intuition, I'll just say that. But she doesn't fall far from the tree. She's gotten all of her expertise and her induction and deduction and ability to solve problems and conundrums thanks to her father's DNA. And it's actually very interesting. It's a very complicated, meticulously put together plot, and it was just sensational, I thought, and very smart, very, very witty, very quirky and quick and funny, very, very funny. And there were a lot of one-liners in this movie that just will crack you up. There was one scene in particular. It was a dream sequence that I thought was hysterical, where March falls asleep at the wheel later on when they're in hot pursuit of a lead. It's just I live for things like that. And it takes place in the 70s, which I think it gives it that certain kind of suave nature, and just very sophisticated and cool and chic. I don't know why, I like films that take place at another time, and it actually left it open for a sequel. I thought, oh please, let this be a sequel, let there be a sequel, because I think it would make for they left it open for that. I don't think they're going to, though, but it would be nice that they did. But you know, I'm actually not sad that I missed it, but it would have been just an extraordinary experience, I think, in the cinema, because the chase scenes in of themselves, I always love a really good, straightforward chase scene, because I get really involved and I escape for the time being, and I invest everything, all my emotions in these two characters. Of course, the slugfest, I don't know why, but I've always been a fan of action adventure ever since I was young, and I guess it's because I'm sort of a tomboy, but it's just such a well-written film. And not only that, but it's just funny. I mean, the writing in this movie is so crisp and witty and just really intelligently written, and it's just really great humor, and I savored every minute of it. This is the kind of comedy that any kind of person who appreciates comedy will like. And there's one part where March says, he says, "Where are you going?" "I'm out of time, buddy." He's like, "How do you know my name's Buddy?" I mean, it's just lines like that kind of take you off guard. You're like, oh, how clever, and you know, how quippy, how quirky. But it's just that kind of writing, and it's like, oh wow, these writers are just sparkling geniuses, and it's refreshing, and I really enjoyed that. And not only that, but you know, there were moments where you thought that March was trying to, I mean, like he was really upset by a situation because he and Holly find themselves in quite the predicament. I'm not going to say what happens or what leads to them getting in a jam, but he actually uses that toward his advantage, and I thought, oh, he did the 180 switcheroo, and whoa, yeah, I didn't see that coming. But this plot line was really sophisticated too. It is very multifaceted and extremely entertaining. And I thought that Ryan and Russell Crowe had awesome chemistry together, and it was just a kick butt film, and I adored every minute of it. This is, if Nice Guys had been like this, I probably would have liked it more. I think this is what Nice Guys would have aspired to have been had it been written well. I don't know who the director of the film is, but he did just an astonishing job. I was completely just thunderstruck by the whole thing. I fell in love with it. The first thing that I knew is when the film starts, it begins with Papa was a rolling stone, wherever he lives, that was his home. I thought, yes! It was one of my favorite songs from the 70s. I don't know why, but you know, I was born when disco died, but I still feel like, yeah, this is my era. And I don't know, it's this the way people dressed, and you know, everything was changing, and there were some things I thought were very interesting that they talk about, and some political issues and some ecological issues. I thought, ooh, yeah, this is stepping on some very controversial subjects for a comedy. They go into ethanol. They talk about ethanol, and they talk about this engine, some kind of carburetor, and it was causing bad smog, and the birds were dying because, or they would in the future. March actually makes a comment later on. He said, "Oh, just wait in 5 years, we'll all have electric cars from Japan." I thought, miscalculation. I wish that were true. No, they pulled the plug on the electric car. Big Oil would absolutely hate that. It's just, you know, the bureaucrats and the politics and the red tape and the man. And of course, Amelia, she actually talks about that. Like, you fascist pigs. The things that she said. Her lines are probably the best in the whole film. She is so hysterical, but what she says is so true. I thought, oh dear. And she's really calling out capitalism there. Should I feel bad about actually agreeing with her? It's not that I can. It's not that I think that capitalism is a bad thing, but in some cases, in the case of mining for fossil fuels, capitalism is very, very bad. But it's our methodology of actually keeping roofs over our heads and making sure that we're fed and clothed, and all of our needs, so to say. But yeah, she plays a very integral role in the entire film. I'm not gonna say why, but she's important. She's the one that March is looking for at the very beginning, and of course Holly tags along, and she is just the intrepid little go-getter. She is just a symbol of empowerment. I loved her. I thought, you go, girl. But you know, it was so nice to see a young girl standing up for herself and not being a damsel in distress. I thought, good, we have another character who takes charge, and even though she's just a child, she's able to fight back, and it was just amazing. I thought that was really outstanding. I mean, this film is so awesome. It's just a radical film, and I loved it. And I gave it 2 thumbs way up, 5 stars hands down. And the only other thing I have to say is tomorrow is the day, and I don't know. I'm going to remain optimistic because I know that in my heart I have faith that anything is possible. My logical, rational part of me says, well, you should say your goodbyes to your father. Even though the other half of me, my more idealistic side says, oh, no, you shouldn't do that. But I'm kind of waging war between myself, but I know that whatever happens, que sera, sera, right? But I do know that miracles do happen, so we shall see, and I will keep all of you magicians updated no matter what happens. So until next time, live long, prosper. Ciao, tutti.